What's going on, YouTube? Back in the garage. Unfortunately, I did an install on the Rough Country multi-switch controller box, and I was doing an install video on that, and halfway through the install, the camera phone I was using just stopped working. So basically, I didn't stop installing it or stop installing the light bars, but unfortunately I was not able to produce the video I wanted to do on that install. But this one, I'm just going to show you how it looks after I installed it. Same with my light bars and all my lights. Those cheap eBay lights, they are super bright. How long are they going to last? I have no idea. I really don't. But I like them. They're working out great. There's a few little things about them that wasn't really all that great. I'll show you that. But overall, the install on that Rough Country switch panel, that was super easy. Just follow the instructions that they provide you, and it's a breeze. It really is. But yeah, sorry I haven't produced anything lately. Like I said, my camera that I was using was an old cell phone, so now I had to go out and buy an actual legitimate camera. I was tired of cameras I was using on phones just taking a crap on me, or I lose audio and stuff like that. So I just went out and bought an actual digital camera. Nothing special, so the video quality is probably going to be a little bit different. Same with the audio, which hopefully is better. I would imagine it's better. Plus, not only that, I'm no longer using the video editing software that I was originally using through my phone. So now I'm going to be editing everything on my laptop, which is better off if I do that anyway. I just have to learn the ins and outs on it, and also find good software that's friendly to me. But yeah, I'm going to show you how it looks, and if I ran into any problems installing this switch panel and the light bars. Alright, so here's the switch panel. Now, for my year Jeep, it uses a different bracket from the earlier years. So fortunately I had one that was bolted in. So the other years it came with a different bracket that you would actually have to drill out the rivets, and then you put that bracket on and you re-rivet to the pillar up here. It was a super easy install. One thing I still want to redo is the plug for this stops right about here. As you can see, if you look at this line, it dips down a little bit. I'm going to drop this plastic piece out, and there's like little ribs on the inside of the plastic piece. I'm going to cut the ribs a little bit just so I can get this plastic piece up higher, nice and straight. As it is right now, it doesn't look horrible, but it's just going to end up bothering me. Now, Rough Country, they send you a wire that basically you can have this switch panel turn on and off with your ignition. Now, because if you just leave it on like that, your LEDs with no ignition on will always stay lit. But there's a switch right here, turn it right off. And there's not going to be any power going to any of your light bars until you flip the switch. So to avoid that, they provide this wire, taps into your fuse box, and you actually run this power wire over to from your fuse box over to the box underneath your hood for the switch panel, which I'll show. And you just tap that into the harness that plugs into it, and then you can just leave this switch on and your key will power everything on and off. I didn't really give it too much about it turning off with my ignition. I just hit the switch, screw it. I didn't want run another wire from the battery, the fuse box all the way over, because the fuse box is on the passenger side, and you would have to run a wire from the passenger side over to the driver's side to where the box is located. But yeah, other than that, the brackets have a little bit of play, so you gotta watch centering it, which I got it pretty centered. I mean, it could go over probably the driver's side just a little bit, but I'm not really too worried about it. And the latch for your freedom top, now you can't just grab it from right here. You have to put your finger in here to unlock the lever, which isn't a big deal, but it fits perfectly. It locks everything. The switches, they feel nice and firm compared to the switches that were provided with the light bars. They were really, you click them on, they feel like complete junk. It's like you can just tell by the way it snaps. They were just not gonna last long. These feel really nice. Not only that, the wiring inside this box, they have rubber boots on them, so they're weatherproof. It's, for the most part, weatherproof. So I like them. It turned out really nice. I'm gonna show what it looks like under the hood. Alright, now the wiring for the light bars, I just basically followed the OE light or wiring. I zip tie it to that looming. I made sure I had plenty of wiring to sneak it down where the horn is, under the horn, and tuck everything away. Same with the small light on this side. I just ran it on the looming that goes behind the motor all the way across. For the most part, it looks like it's all OEM, at least in my opinion. Now there's two wires that you have to run. It'll be this one right here, this negative, and this positive. That actually runs behind the motor on this looming. It runs over that direction, and it goes to the actual box itself. Pop this open. Alright, and this is the inside of the box. Power running over to the battery, and your negative that also runs over to the battery. I'm sure you could probably just ground this to the chassis itself. Just make sure you have a good grounding point. Like I said, you can hook it up so this all comes on when you turn your ignition on, or you can just have everything turned off at the panel itself. In order to have it come on with the ignition, there's a red wire right here on this wire harness. You just pull back your sheathing, and you cut the red wire, and you crimp like a butt end connector on this side of the plug of the wire that you cut, so it's like kind of like capped off. Then you run that wire that they provide you from the fuse box over there, and I forget exactly what fuse it is, but you tap into that fuse and run it up and over behind the motor, across, and then all the way over to the harness itself. To me, that just seemed like way too much work, so I just decided not to do that. One thing they didn't tell you is the switch position from the driver's side to the passenger side inside the vehicle. It starts on this side of the terminal block, goes across. So this will be driver's side, slowly working yourself across. Has its own relays and everything. So to me, it just turned out a lot nicer than having to run individual harnesses that came with the light bar setup, and it'll just be a big spaghetti mess. I didn't want to do that. One thing I still want to hook up to this is my backup lights that are mounted inside my rear bumper. I want to probably put it on my last terminal switch right here, so I can just turn the switch on and they'll come on. And I want to also get a harness that will allow me to still hook them up to my OEM reverse lights, so when I put it in reverse, they also come on. I know there's a harness out there that will allow you to do that. I have to look into it and see how much it is. I'm sure it's not too much, but what else? Yeah, it mounted perfectly, lined it up perfectly with your number 10 millimeter fender bolts here, and it's not going nowhere. It's pretty solid. One thing I thought they would have had would be more of a rubber grommets to seal off everything. So let's say if I do decide to take this thing off-road and submerge it in water won't ever get inside this box, which you'd really have to submerge this thing to get the water up that high. But better be safe than sorry. I might just figure out a way to do it so it's all sealed off if I decide to do stuff like that with this Jeep. Alright, got all the light bars that I want on. I installed the top 52-inch one, the two side ones, and I installed a small one below the bull bar. Now it was supposed to actually, I believe, go on top, but when I put it up there, to me it didn't look good, so I put it on the bottom, and I think it looks a hell of a lot better. Now the hardware that they provided, I haven't even had a week with these, and it's already starting to rust a little bit, so I'm sure I'm gonna have to change them out for some stainless, or yeah, probably stainless, so they don't end up rusting out on me. It's probably gonna go for all the hardware. Now the wiring for the top, I was originally gonna run it inside here, but unfortunately there's not enough room, so I just zip tied it right here, and I just have it running down the side. You can barely even notice it. Again, the hardware for these lights, these side ones, they're all starting to already rust a little bit, so I'm gonna end up just replacing it all with stainless eventually. I ran all my wires into this crease right here, which you kind of don't bend it, but it flexes just a little bit. You'll need to flex it a little bit to sneak the wires in there. It's not a big deal. You just don't want to bend it, and then you'll just end up having to get another cowl. Same with this side over here. You don't have to flex this side because it's just that one thinner wire. It fits perfectly inside this crease. Now another thing with these brackets, they supplied hardware, believe it or not, hardware for the brackets, but when you go to use them, I think it's the wrong thread pitch, so I don't even try using them. Just use your original hardware and they work out so much better. I do recommend these, there's like, I guess, plastic washers. I recommend replacing those washers with a better washer, because when these holes are elongated, when you go to torque them down, they end up bending and getting distorted and stuff like that. A thing I didn't like with the 52-inch is the mounting here. Normally you would mount it in the slot, but when you put it in the slot, it's still loose. It's still loose when you tighten it up. So you would have to. They didn't provide the inner piece that locks
that has like a bunch of little ridges, and on ridges that lock into the ridges on the light bar itself. So I just put it on. There was actual another hole behind here, so I just put it in that hole and tightened it down, and it's nice and tight. It ain't going nowhere. At nighttime I kind of dialed it in where I wanted to shine. I still have to dial in the side ones where I want them to aim also, but they're super bright. I'm gonna turn them on for you. You don't, to turn them on, you don't even need to hit the side button. That's just to light up the LEDs in the buttons themselves. So I have it 1, 2, 3, top, side ones, then the bottom bull bar one. But yeah, they're super bright. Even at daytime, it's kind of hard to look at them because they're so bright.
Alright YouTube, so that was the light bars and Rough Country 6 switch control box. Like I said, I apologize, I did not do a install video on it. I really wanted to. It's just, like, I don't know, my camera just a piece of shit, and I actually had to go out and buy a decent video camera. It's not the best, so in turn I'm sure the quality of my videos is going to change, same my audio, so please let me know if how it's turning out. If the audio is crappy or whatnot, I'll see what I can do about it. But yeah, I plan on using this camera for quite some time. Hopefully it's gonna hold up. It should. It's a Sony, but then again, just because it's good name brand doesn't mean really anything. I've bought real good name brand stuff and it just turned out to be junk. But so far I like this video camera. Still playing with all settings, so bear with me. I'm sure the content's going to get better and better with this camera. What's to come with the Jeep? I'm going to be getting wheels for it. A lot of people are not going to like the wheels that I got because of the size of the rims. I'll be running a 20 by 10 wheel, offset -44, so they're going to stick out pretty far. Hopefully not too damn far. We'll see. If they stick out way too far, I'll just end up selling them and just picking up a different set after that. We'll see. After the wheels, my next step is going to be getting some flat top fenders. I think with a good set of wheels lifted with flat top fenders, just the Jeep really looks good. It changes the look of the Jeep by a million. It really does. So if you like what you're seeing so far, please like and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, take it easy.